Word from the Lord. Tonight we're going to talk about a verse that's a well-known verse in Philippians chapter 4, verse number 13. The region says these words, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. This is one of those verses that is often used, often quoted, and I want to talk about it from a different perspective tonight. It says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. I want to talk about three things that you need to move before you say, I can do. Three things you need to move out of the way before you say, I can do. Most times we don't even think about this because we know through Christ we can do all things. But there is a spot here that says I, which means the person themselves have to be put in a certain position, have to do certain things in order for the last part to be important and conducive to getting something done through Christ. What do you mean? Three things that needs to be moved before I can say I can do all things. Well, number one is before you say I can do, you need to move yourself. Remove yourself out of the way. I know you think you're a bag of chips and all of that, but until you can get to the point to look at yourself and remove yourself out of the way, get your pride, get everything out of the way, that's the first thing needs to happen. If you're going to get to the point that says, I can do, through Christ all things, you got to move yourself out of the way because the pride in us will make a blockage and you can't get to Christ in order to get the strength you need in order to accomplish what you want to do. The second thing is, not only do you need to move yourself out of the way, you need to move your past out of the way. If you don't move your past out of the way, it's one of those things that will always hang around. It's one of those things that will always bother you. There's a lot of people, they can't go forward, not because they really can't, but they're trying to hold on to their past. So you've got to move your past. You know, Philippians chapter 3 and verse number 13, forgetting those things that are behind us, the only way that you can go forward, the only way that you can do all things through Christ is you have to forget those things which are behind. And sometimes it's difficult. It's not always easy. It depends on what you've gone through. But it's got to transpire if you're going to use the power of God. You can't hold on to the past and hold on to God. You got to cut it loose. And the last thing is after you've moved yourself, after you've moved the past, then you have to move some people. And this is going to get kind of, tingy right here. Because sometimes they folk, your associates, sometimes they're your friends, sometimes there's some folk around in the church, folk on your job. But if you're going to use the power of God, you can't allow anything to be between you and God. In other words, my path to God has to be clear. When I move myself and I've moved my past and now I've moved some folk out of the way, now I have a clear path to God. In other words, Paul was just saying that now I know I can do all things through him because what do you do, Paul? Well, I first had to get myself out of the way. I had to get my past out of the way. And then there was some folk I had to get out of the way. And after I've done all of that, now I can say I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And you can too. Y'all be blessed.
So brand new, switched up my ways, then changed the game. I'm feeling good, y'all, in Jesus' name. I used to be the one